So today's community conversation was just not about how you transition, into phase 2 for COVID-19, but understanding that whether it's good or bad, whether you say yes or no, whether you go or you stay still, it causes a ripple effect in your life. Good morning. It's Coffee and Community Conversations with PKO. We are live. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're jumping on, continuing the conversation on COVID and racial conflict in our community. We're talking about how we're navigating our new norm. And of course, we're taking community conversations. If you're just joining, I want you to drop your name below and just say, hello, I'm here. I want you to share with others, because we want them to be a part of this community conversation. And we're at 7 people. When we get to 10, we're going to kick off. So I need you to help me share. I need you to share. I need you to tag. I need you to tell people to come on in. We're having a real conversation today. And in case you're wondering, I have Private Collection Guatemalan DarkRoast in my coffee cup today. I want to thank them for giving me a good taste this morning. Megan, thank you for joining us. If you're here, would you put your name below and say good morning? Good morning, Angela C. Gray. That's right. I'm in my God is my lifeline t-shirt. If you don't know, this is a t-shirt from the Angela C. Gray Love, Live, Inspire line. She has them available. If you're interested, I want you to hit me in my inbox or hit her and you can grab one. With COVID, it's taking some time to get orders in, but I'm sure she can get you one. Linda, thank you for joining. Thank you for sharing, guys. Thank you for being on here with me. Listen, let me just keep it all the way 100 with you guys. And most of you that's watching here know me. Kayla, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Listen, jumping on here and doing these lives are not easy, right? Especially when you are being authentic, right? And you are being honest about where you are and what's happening in your community or even what's happening in you. And so I'm jumping on. I have one of these glasses, guys, because I have bags under my eyes. See that? I have bags under my eyes. I've been up all night. The guest that I had scheduled to come on got called into the ER. She's a doctor. And I just wanted to keep it real with you guys, because this usually starts at 10 a.m. And I woke up this morning and nothing worked. But I couldn't stop what God had assigned me to do. So I'm jumping on to Forge Forward. And I'm hoping that we can have this conversation together and we can continue it. The importance of having a conversation is that it's not one person speaking to you and telling you what should happen. It's us speaking together and coming up with viable solutions on how we can make a difference and an impact, not just in our community, but in our own personal lives. Because how many of you know that if you can't shift something in you, you can't shift something where you live? Come on, somebody, right? We have to work on our inward self, our household first, before we can begin to take care of anybody else's house. And so today we're talking about our house, how we are navigating during COVID and conflict, right? And listen, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to say me too. I've been affected by this tragedy. I lost my job, or my income is down and I'm not able to feed my kids the way that they are used to being fed, or my kids are at home and I don't have the patience in me to teach them. I'm talking to somebody today. I don't have the patience to teach them, and the school is not providing a whole bunch of work. We're stuck inside the house and I'm not sure what to do. Or I have family members that I lost from COVID-19 and friends that I saw go on ventilators and never wake up, and I'm not okay. And this is the conversation that we are having this morning. Good morning, Pastor Latoya. Good morning, Gabrielle. Thank you for joining us this morning for Coffee and Community Conversation. I'm going to throw you guys up on the screen just so that people can see you say good morning. Angela C. Gray just said speak, and Linda said that she has Cafe Bustelo in her cup. Thank you guys for joining. And so before we can begin to impact our community and our area, we have to make sure that we're impacting ourselves. And so today we're talking about COVID-19 and conflict, right? And conflict could be the racial conflict, but it can also be a conflict that you're experiencing in your life. And I want you to be open and honest today, because what I realize is that when you open up your mouth and say something, right, God can begin to move, right? This quote that I just want to share with you that I felt right before I jumped on, it said, when you cast your cares, you cast off judgment. Come on, somebody. That was good right there. When you cast off cares, you cast off judgment. I don't care what you think about my struggle because it doesn't belong to you. You can't even fix it. The power is not in you. It belongs to who we serve, right? And I'm not going to make Coffee and Community Conversation a brave lesson, but I just had to say that when you cast your cares, you cast off judgment. So if you're struggling, right, don't be silent about it. If you need help, don't be silent about it. I want you to contact me or contact somebody in your group that you trust. Contact somebody that you believe cares. My email address is running across the screen, right? You can also just hit me up in my inbox. You know, I thought about putting my cell phone number up here, but my husband would never forgive me. And so today, guys, we're talking about COVID and conflict. But of course, we're kicking off with the community question. And the community question comes all the way from Brooklyn, New York. And that question is, how are you navigating the new now? How are you navigating the new now? How are you navigating the new now? And so if you're here, I want you to answer that question. How are you navigating the new now? What has changed in your life? Come on, somebody, I want you to talk back. How are you navigating the new now? And the new now means that you can't go places like you used to. You may not be working. You're working around with a mask on your face, right? Like, tell me, how are you navigating the new now? What does it look like in your life? Are you staying away from people? Are you afraid of people? Like, what does that look like? What are your responses? Like, how are you navigating the new now? And I know this thing is delayed, right? But for me, I don't like being in the mask all day, but I know that I have to be in the mask when I go outside because I'm protecting my family. I'm still taking plastic gloves when I go places because, look, I'm the Harris-T, the queen. I'm in there shopping every other day if I get a chance. But how are you navigating the new now? My kids are at home, and I'm sure that they're tired of being at home, and you know, I'm actually going to bring one of them on camera, and she's going to share with you. And I don't know what her answers are going to be, so she might say something out of this world about how she feels since she's been home. Gabrielle said that she's taking it day by day with extra safety. That's right, and she's in the medical industry. Angela C. Gray said that she's focused more than she's ever been, seriously working in silence. That's powerful. Sometimes you have to do things behind the scene. What you do in private, God will make public in power, right? That's how it works. Lindra said masking crowds only. Right, okay, thank you for sharing those. And so I am navigating the new norm with masks, with gloves, taking super extra precautions, no water fountains, right? But I mean, does that help? And I don't know, you know, that's why we were bringing on a medical expert today who had to go to the ER up in the Triangle area. And she was going to tell us some of the precautions she takes in her personal life. You know, it's one thing that you take precautions in a hospital, but there's some things that you do in your personal life. And that's why I begin to explore this topic, because we do things out loud so that people can see us. But what do we do in private? Kayla said day by day prayer and educating herself. Thank you for sharing that. And so our community kickoff conversation all the way from Brooklyn, New York, from Naomi said, how are you navigating the now? And so far we heard from Gabrielle, who says she's taking it day by day. Angela says she's focused. Linda said masking crowds. Kayla says day by day prayer and education. And Linda said prayer. And so guys, thank you for helping me answer this coffee and community kickoff conversation. So on the topic of COVID and racial conflict, we see the world that we live in at odds. We're fighting an invisible pandemic, and we're fighting a public conflict, you know, racial divisiveness. And what surprises me is that if you haven't been affected by either, it's easy for you to say that it doesn't exist, right? It's easy for you to have a conspiracy theory to say, well, COVID is not real, or racism is not real unless you've had an experience from it. And so today I want to talk to you to not just base things on what we experience, but based on the facts, right? Not even what you see, just based on the facts. When it comes to COVID-19, a lot of people have not been affected by it. I've lost people that I know. I've seen friends jump on camera and talk to me and say, I am well, but they're putting me on the ventilator, just pray, and they go on the ventilator and they never come back off. They've passed away. They've moved on. My sister has a friend that went in healthy and never came back home. His wife and kids were at home and he never came back. And listen, in this new norm that we're navigating in hospitals, you can't go and sit with your loved ones. You can't hold their hand anymore. You can't wait outside the waiting room, or you can't sleep inside the hospital like we're used to because of the restrictions that's been put upon us to safeguard our health personally. And so when you're dealing with this situation where you want to protect your kids, you want to protect yourself, but you also want to be there for people who are struggling, you find yourself in this emotional place, asking God, what can you do to fix it? Or asking yourself, what can I do to make a change? And this morning, I want to talk to you about making a change in you with the things that have been affecting you. I don't want you to walk around somber and hurt and upset or in pain because you believe that you can't share what you experience because nobody else is sharing what they experience, or because the people that you expect to be there for you are missing in action. I want to give you permission today to be in pain. I want you to give you permission today to express how you feel. I want to give you permission today to not worry about the naysayers or the critics. Glory to God. I want you to have permission today to open up your mouth and talk about the things that you feel like are holding you back, the things that are causing you pain, the things that you think about in your house when you're by yourself. What are those things? I have women that are telling me that I don't have my job anymore. I'm not even sure how I'm going to pay my bills. I can't feed my kids. I can't teach these kids because they're crazy. I need some help. What are you experiencing? If you're bold enough, I want you to begin to share below what you are experiencing. Miss Gabrielle said, my residents more than anyone else have been so balanced and depressed because they haven't seen their families in months. It just hurts my heart to the core. So Miss Gabrielle works in the medical field, guys. And so where she works, she's saying that the residents that live there have not been able to see their families in months because of the COVID-19 restrictions. Think about someone not being able to see their mom and dad since we were told to quarantine inside of our house, right? Think about that. Think about not being able to spend time with your kids or with your loved ones at all because of the restriction, and there's a pain that happens there. And I think we spend a lot of time talking about masks, talking about gloves, talking about the fight, for racial equity, for more diversity and inclusion, but we don't talk about the fight that's happening on the inside of us. I got to put my dukes up every day to come out strong. I have to show up for me, right? Because somebody else may not show up for me. Linda said that the people that she expected to help her are missing in action, and that happens. And so today we're going to talk about how you can begin to care for yourself. And listen, my friend Angela C. Gray is up here. She has a program called H2O for the Soul. It's to help you navigate to get to get to a place of self-care, because sometimes we don't care for ourselves. And so she has a program. She's in the middle of one, but she has another one coming up. I think the program it may be $99.99, but it's her coaching and providing, some assessments for you. But listen, if you're interested in something that's going to help you in figuring out how to just rest yourself, inbox me. I can refer you out for that. So today, let's talk about how you feel. Come on, y'all, speak back. This is Coffee and Community Conversation. How do you feel? What's going on the inside of you? What do you think needs to change? What do you need right now to make things better off your life? Because remember, when you cast your cares, you cast off judgment. My coach, Dr. Elisa Lachelle Sahani, always says that you can't fix what you don't face. And that is a fact. And so I want us to face the things that we want to fix today, because in the middle of COVID and racial conflict, we still have to care for ourselves. So who's going first? Kayla said, I'm not sure when I'll be returning to work. We were told it won't be until at least September. I'm fearful of the upcoming school year and becoming a teacher to my special needs son as well as two other children. Kayla, we understand. I understand exactly where you are. Going back to work is scary because, we're not sure what to expect when we get there. I think that we have to hold where we're going to work, those locations, accountable, right? For making sure they put all the safety measures in place and making sure it meets our standards as well, right? And this upcoming school year, I think parents everywhere are afraid, because who wants to send their kids to school? Because kids, kids aren't thinking like we're thinking, like they can get something, right? Or they can get sick because of engaging. Our kids don't think that. It's not in their mind. They have this sense of innocence with them. And so now we have to put them in a position where we're telling them, hey, don't do this and don't do that. And I need you to go over here. I need you to wear this mask. And so I'm not sure what the school system wants to do. I know they sent out a mask document, and I don't agree with everything that they sent out. Kayla, we want you to know that we're there for you if you need us. If you want somebody to talk to, we're not just here to talk about coffee and community conversation on Saturday morning, but you can privately inbox, and I will pop up and show up. I will. I know where you live. And I will pull up, right, and pop out and hold your hand just to pray. But it always works together for good. Angela, thank you, sis. Wellness is critical for women. We are so busy taking care of others that we often forget ourselves. That's right. We forget ourselves. So in the middle of COVID-19 and conflict, we want to fight for the community, but we forget that there's a fight for ourselves. That is so good. What are some of the things that we can do to begin to fight for ourselves? I'm going to give you guys some tips. My sister Davina just jumped on, and Davina is going to be a guest in an upcoming show in 2 weeks. She works with high-risk youth in New York City. She is a social worker. She has a master's in juvenile justice and criminal deviancy, so she understands the minds. And right now she lives in New York, but she's away because of the pandemic that was happening. And she said, I'm scared. Remote learning, teletherapy almost took me out this year. And so what she's saying is that doing her job in a different way is harder. Who can agree right now? Who can say that remote made it harder? Anybody zoomed out? It does make it harder. Davina, I wonder in remote learning and teletherapy, is there I know it's more time that you have to invest than you normally would if you had someone that was in your office. Is that a fact, or is it not a fact? Linda said, steady deleting people of social media who are making light of or injuring the current racial situation. That's right. Cut them off. I understand. Listen, I'm going to keep it real with you. If you jump on social media and you are blatantly racist and you are making comments about either party, I have an issue with you, right? And the issue is that, I just don't understand how two can work together unless we agree. And so if there's a disagreement in a situation, whether it's whether Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, yellow lives matter, whatever it is, like, I just don't want to, deal with that kind of conflict. But I do know that if I want to be able to be a solution in this situation, I have to take care of me first. And Davina said, it's a fact. That's right. It's a fact. And so in navigating this norm, what I learned by talking to some of you today is that, yes, wellness is critical, that some of the jobs that we have, we're not sure what it's going to look like later on this year. Teaching our kids, there's going to be some kind of conflict. And the work that we did normally that we didn't think that we could do virtually is taking more time. Davina jumped back on and said there are more students in crisis because of the isolation. She's been working at least 12-hour days, and she's always on call. And so look, this leads up to my next conversation with you guys. There are people in crisis. There are people hurting. And right now, people will always try to profit off your pain. I just said something. I said people will always try to profit off your pain. People will always try to take advantage. They will make your pain their platform, and I want to talk to you guys today about your pain becoming a platform. And I don't mean that you use it, to make yourself famous. I think that you use it to stand on. Platforms is something that takes you higher, so you can use your pain that you're experiencing to take you higher, because we discover something on the inside of us that we didn't know we had when we're forced to. Has anybody else been in that situation? And so some of the emotions that we're experiencing are emotions that I've read about or that I'm experiencing myself. I can't stand isolation. I'm an extreme extrovert. I like to get out and talk to people on a regular basis. I like to be loud. I was doing gathered dining experiences on a monthly basis, inviting women out to have conversations and eat food. And now I just see my family. I'm back to working, but I'm still confined in a location, right? And so And so the emotions that I'm experiencing are loneliness, even though I'm surrounded by the same people. That isolation will tear you to pieces, right? And then there is a sense of worry because look, the economy is shifting. I trade stocks, as well, and I'm watching the market go up and down. I'm watching people lose a lot of their savings. I'm watching companies that have been around for years go into bankruptcy or close. I'm watching companies not navigate back or not taking ownership of some of what they've done. There was a recent article about anthropology where some of the people that worked there said that when Black people would come on site, they would tell them to watch the Knicks, and they would classify Black people that came into the store as Knicks so that they can track them. And so with a company like this that's being publicly disgraced by some of their past actions, we have to think to ourselves, either they're going to lose a lot of money, they're going to close, or people are going to support them. But if you're going to support them, there's still going to be the issue with the racial conflict of some of the things that you did before. So we have all these things happening in our country. I pray, I trust God, but I also know that there's some practical things that we have to do that's going to make sense. Angela said, takes you higher to help others. That's right. So your pain becomes your platform. So let's talk about our pain. Our pain becomes our platform. Listen, there's also profit in your pain. Have you ever read a book, right, from somebody that talked about the issues that they were experiencing, and it was so good, and you realized that this person was sharing everything that was on the inside of them, and it encouraged you to forge forward? So your pain is not only a platform, it can take you up, but it can also profit you. And when I'm talking about profit you, I can talk money if this was a Brave Catalyst class and we were talking business, but I want to talk to you about how it profits you by profiting others. When you release what's on the inside of you, when you share what you're experiencing authentically, it encourages somebody else to open up their mouth to say something. And the problem right now in the country that we live in a lot of the churches is that everybody's afraid to share what they're experiencing because they believe they're going to be judged, or because people surfacely say they're going to help you when they really don't show up, right? They always say, I wish you would have called me, or I'm sorry I wasn't there for you. You knew what I was going through. You just decided not to engage. And so when we're talking about the pain that we're experiencing, the hurt that we're experiencing, I want to come to this place that it's okay for you to release those emotions on the inside of you. There's a movie called Inside Out, and I don't know if you've seen it, but there's an amazing movie actually called Inside Out. And this movie, Inside Out, it talks about the different emotions that people experience. It talks about anger and sadness and pain, and it talks about some of the hurt that you've experienced. And I'm going to throw this up real quick. And so in the middle of this, because of what we were experiencing, I realized that my kids were going through something, that my kids were tired of being at home, and that they were tired of not being able to see their friends, and they were tired not being able to experience life as we perceive kids are supposed to experience, right? My son, who's in 5th grade, wasn't going to get the opportunity to graduate with his friends. And so we did a little graduation party here on our own, and we did that because we wanted to make sure that we were celebrating him. And in trying to teach them what was happening, I had to show them what those emotions look like so they could define it themselves. So I designed a workshop for them called Inside Out, Emotional Intelligence for Kids. It was based on the film Inside Out. If you haven't seen the film Inside Out, you need to. I'm going to offer this class for kids and for parents together if you want. It's really simple. Afterwards and during, I'm pulling my sister Angela C. Gray in, and we're going to help build some self-care plans in the process of it. But I think understanding what we're experiencing right now and our kids is going to be vitally important, right? It's going to be important that we not just express ourselves, but our kids also has the opportunity to express themselves. If they're sad, if they're angry, if they're hurt, if they're going through some changes in their life that they're not sure what they are, we have to make sure that we open up a window of opportunity so we can help them resolve it. And if we can help them resolve it, they will become better at being able to say, Mommy, Daddy, I need some help, right? And we're going to get some comments before we jump on right now, before we continue this conversation right now. I see some people saying some things that I think is important. Tara said that her daughter is feeling like same way. Yeah, I agree. Like our kids are hurting, and our kids are hurting, and they are wondering why we're going through this situation, what can they do to fix the situation, and so we want to help them. And on that note, right before I give you guys more information about the Inside Out Emotional Intelligence for Parents and Kids class that we're going to be offering, I'm going to invite Kairos on, who's my 12-year-old, and I'm just going to ask her some questions about what she's going through right now. And listen, I don't know what she's going to say, y'all. This is my daughter for real, so if she flips out, I want y'all to just say, speak, Cairo. I want y'all to encourage her because she's a little nervous about jumping on camera. And she asked me, should she change her clothes? I was like, just jump on with the t-shirt. This is our family, and we're here drinking coffee together. So I'm going to throw up some more comments and then welcome Kairos on. Kayla said, I'm disgusted at the level of racism that still exists around us. So many people don't even realize their beliefs are racially motivated because they've become so accustomed to the way of thinking. How do we change this? I feel it's a losing battle when I have the racial conversation and try to change people's beliefs. Kayla, that's a powerful statement that you just made. And I actually, you know, for work, I'm in human capital. I help build systems, strategies, and processes for organizations, for their people. And part of that is understanding what diversity, equity, and inclusion is. We are working on this thing called how do you have that first conversation? How do you engage with people from different sides, different races? And there's a little one sheet that I've been distributing to companies that I'll be happy to share with you. And next week, I'm inviting some Golden Girls on who don't all look like me, and we're going to have a conversation on what it looks like when we talk, when we engage with each other, when we speak. And if you are that passionate about this conversation, I'd like to invite you on to be a part of that conversation live online. Just inbox me and let me know. And Miss Chrissy said our kids don't know how to process it. That's right. And so now we're talking about this emotional intelligence for kids, and I'm going to get ready to bring on my little lady right now, and she is probably going to have a heart attack, y'all. So, and so I want to be able to get her on here and just ask her a few questions, and I'm excited about the questions that I'm going to ask her. That's right. And so Davina just jumped on and said, it's not your job to change people. You can inform them. You can inform and enlighten, but you will not be good to you if you let them steal your energy. That's right. Linda said, especially when we're white and come from racist families. Yeah, you know what, Linda? I've heard a lot of that. And the thing is that this is what I realized. I realized that we can be the change, right? We can be the change. We can change what's happening in our families. We can break the stereotypes that's always been happening for years. It's up to us. You can be a generational curse breaker. If something has happened in your life and your family's life, and you know that this is something that's been systematic even in your family, you can be the person that breaks it off. You know, you can be the person that breaks that generational curse that's been passed down for years to years. You can make the difference. You just keep fighting. You keep praying, and you just ask God to give you the wisdom that you need to navigate, right? And Davina said you did. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Thank you. Precious said yes. Said yes. So guys, I want you to help me really quick. Welcome Cairo on camera. Say hi, Cairo.
Good day.
Yeah. So I asked Cairo up here because I didn't know any other kids who would let me throw them on camera, but she really can't say no because she's mine. And look, but before I move on, I want to remind you guys that today I'm drinking Private Selection Guatemalan DarkRoast for the Keurig in my cup. I want to thank Private Collection for giving me something nice, hot, and strong to drink, right? Kairos, Angela said, hey, lady. Christina said, hey. Precious said, hey. Everybody saying hi. She can see you guys saying hi. I'm throwing you guys up on the screen. She's laughing. She thinks this is funny. She's, you know, she thinks this is funny, and it's okay. And so we're jumping on. And guys, look, if your kids are around and your kids have questions, I want you to drop them. And remember, we're going to be offering Inside Out, Emotional Intelligence for Kids. It's a masterclass for moms and their kids. We want you to participate in it. It won't be done this way. It will be done privately via Zoom, and you'll be able to sign up for it, and you'll get a package shipped to you that'll help you navigate through some of the activities for this class. It's just a one-day class, not even a full day, a couple hours. You have to watch the movie Inside Out, but we will make that happen for you as well. And so now that we're moving on, ask Cairo some questions. Everybody said, hi, how do we sign up? Precious, that's a good question. So my email address will run across the screen. All you have to do, you can inbox me or email me and say that you're interested, and I'll send you a link so that you can get started. So Cairo, thank you for joining me today.
Hi.
So Cairo, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? How old are you? What school you go to?
I'm 12. I go to Noble. I'm in 7th grade. I don't really know what to tell you.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, but you're not talking to me. You're talking to them, right? And so tell them some of the things that you like to do.
Watch YouTube constantly. I love music and drawing.
Okay. Do you draw a lot?
I used to. I stopped.
Yeah. So, Cairo, you know that we've been stuck inside. Well, you've been stuck inside for a long time, right? A couple months. And guys, so that you know, I don't let the kids go anywhere. Yeah, anywhere. And so before I start with my questions, we have a question from Miss Christy Patari. She said, how has online learning been for you?
It feels a lot longer because I don't like sitting on computers that long. I'd rather do a piece of paper. But honestly, it's not that bad. It's like the same amount of work. It just feels like more because usually you get one sheet and then you finish it before the end of class. Mm-hmm. Now we have like a bunch of things due, and it's all due like Sunday night. Mm-hmm. And so I procrastinate a lot.
Okay. She procrastinates a lot, apparently, right? And so she said that it takes longer, that it seems like it's a lot of work because it takes more time because she's doing it online. If you had to choose between online learning or learning in the building, which one would you choose?
I have to go to school.
Talk louder so they can hear you.
I would definitely go to school.
So Cairo, how do you get to talk to your friends?
Snapchat and text messaging, really, that's it.
Yeah.
And I FaceTime sometimes, but that's usually just Chloe.
Yeah. So social media has been a blessing, I guess, to all of us. We're able to do church online, we're able to talk online, and she's able to talk to her friends online, but is it the same?
Yeah, no, I'm used to not seeing Chloe all the time, but everybody else, yes. I feel
Go ahead.
I don't know, but like it's not terrible, but it doesn't feel the same now.
Cairo's another question. How are you dealing with not being able to go to school?
I'm kind of okay with it. I miss my friends, but honestly, I don't. It's not that like. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Not being in school isn't that terrible. Like, I'm still doing work. I'm still talking to my friends. So it's like the same thing, but like I don't get to see their face.
Does that bother you?
I don't get to see their face?
Yeah.
Well, technically speaking, in school, none of my friends really have the same classes as me anyway. Mm-hmm. So I usually don't see them. But not seeing their face is like it feels a lot better to see them every day. But
Christy said, do you feel like the communication has been there with your teachers?
Yeah, I know my teachers emailed me a lot if I forgot to turn something in or something, or we had a Zoom meeting, which it was always optional. It was just like a check-in. But yeah, they were always there if you wanted them to be, and they had office hours if you wanted to go to them.
Cool. I want to share something else, Christy, with that question is Cairo's school is different, right? She's in middle school, but Adam, I haven't had a lot of communication with the teachers. They haven't provided as much work. So I guess it depends on what grade you're in and what school you go to. Adam goes to a pretty good school, but they haven't given them a whole lot of work. And I wish I would have brought him on camera to ask him that as well. But yeah, they haven't given him a whole lot of work. So I spend time daily giving the kids work. So I still create lessons on a daily basis. I know I used to post pictures and I stopped, but I create lessons every day. We have like this schedule that Monday is science. Tuesday is
Monday is math.
Monday is math. Tuesday is science.
Wednesday is social studies.
Wednesday is social studies and wellness Wednesday. Thursday is writing
and Friday is visual arts.
yeah, Friday's visual arts. And so we have like a little schedule of work that I do, and it's just consisting of a little slide deck, a worksheet, usually an activity or an art project that I'll give them to do. And those things that I design is available to anyone. You know, I kind of make it from grade 5 to 8 because Adam's in 5th going to 6th and Kyra's in 8th. I have my niece here as well, and I force her to do the 5th grade work. And so it's something that I think everybody can get something from. And I usually include a film that they can get lessons from to kind of add that fun component to it. Christine said, Linda said, my Adam is a computer who's whiz, so he's done it in no time. Just an example of how different kids are adapting. I agree. Kids adapt more to social media than adults. Well, depend on the adult. And, you know, we have to find ways that we can continue to be innovative because of some of the things that we may face in the future, because numbers are going back up. So we might stay locked in longer. What you think?
Yeah, probably. It's gonna stink, especially since it's summer now.
It's gonna what?
It's gonna stink especially since it's summer now, and all my friends, we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna get out in June, and we're still stuck here. We were all excited to get out of here.
Does that make you sad or mad?
We had like a bunch of plans. Like we're gonna have like this ultimate sleepover thing and eat a bunch of food. We planned it like months ago. And we're like, oh, it's gonna be during summer. We're gonna go shopping. We're gonna give Morgan a makeover, and then we're still stuck here. So I'm pretty upset about that, but it's okay. We'll do it eventually. One day. It'll happen.
Christina Castillo said, have you found any hidden talent since you have been at home?
This is kind of weird, but it's like making lists. I'm actually not bad at making lists. I don't barely stop. But, and I don't really know. I don't know. I haven't really done much, really. I'm not that active, or no, that's not the right word. Productive.
She is productive. Don't listen to this kid. You see what I told you? She was going to say something crazy. I'm walking her off this camera right now. So look, Cairo paints, and I can get her to bring some of the art projects that she's done since she's been home. And what I found out is that this girl can really draw really well. She can draw, she can paint. She used different mediums. Look, she's like, oh goodness, my mom embarrassing me, but she's really good at it. And so she can design. She has this creative part of her that I've seen her tap into. That's why I include art projects. She's doing, she's using, markers, right? You're using crayons, you're using regular paint, right?
I know those crayons are like really waxy, but I love them. Mine's in my room.
Wait, and so this is not Kairos, but this is an example of art projects that they can get when they're home. Yeah, you can. And so, like, look at this. So, like, this is like my niece. This is Adams. This is for Wellness Wednesday. I had them do like wine and design, but you know they wasn't drinking no wine, even though I was prepared to give them some to keep them silent. Lord have mercy. So this is Adams right here with his banana. This is my niece Stacy's, and show them yours, Cairo.
It's so basic.
And so this is her watermelon that she designed, right? And so and this is wood that was going to be thrown away, ladies. And so I just used the wood and had them paint on it, and they can keep the pictures, you know, on their own. You can sketch on it and pencil if you want. That's what Stacy did with hers. And then she sketched it and then she painted it, but it helps them, you know, tap into this creative side of who they are. And so Pepsi and paint, Prissy Patari, that is it. Pepsi and paint. We having a Pepsi and paint party. That's exactly what we're doing. Yes. Thank you guys. Thank you, Tara. Angela said, I love this. Thank you guys. Thank you. And so I've seen that part of her, you know, since she's been home. She wants to redesign her room in this gray color and, you know, all these other things. And let me tell her this while she's on camera, and she didn't know what I was going to say, and I didn't know what she was going to say. But I'm working outside the house right now, guys. I'm literally on site, downtown or midtown. I'm just out the house. I'm not traveling again yet, but it's going to happen, you know, eventually. And so I leave early in the morning while the kids are sleeping. I'm making breakfast, and And then I'm coming back home and I'm sending lessons to them during the day while I'm working. And when I come back home, Cairo, I have the dishes washed, or she'll try to help me with something for dinner. She's like, Mommy, can I do something for you? And so one of the things that has happened during this pandemic, and I wish that I had all my kids here, is that she has helped me in this new deep way, right? Just to let me know that she's here for me. We've spent more time talking to her older sisters who both live in New York and in South Carolina. And so we've been able to rebuild kind of our relationship. We're a little bit closer now, right? We're a little bit closer now.
Me and you?
Yeah. Right. And so like we've been able to develop this relationship. Giada just said hi.
I know. Hey.
Yeah, and so we've been able to develop more of a relationship because I was gone a lot, guys. I worked 7 a.m. and come home at 7 p.m. And I mean, for those of you who know me, y'all know that I traveled all over the place, and I always tried to be here for special events for them and stuff. But, I know that I was gone, and my kids, I think they understand that it was for work. It wasn't because I was going to play. If I had to speak somewhere on Saturday, I would fly back Sunday to be home and for church. I wouldn't spend an extra day there because I didn't want to travel. What I discovered having this time in quarantine with my little lady is that not only that she has all these amazing gifts, but like God restored the time that I had missed and restored our bond and made it deeper, and so I don't know if you've experienced that, but I've experienced that. And so we talk about, COVID and racial conflict and what we're experiencing. But today we're talking about how we can get our house in order so that we can impact our community. If I can take care of me, I can take care of the people that surround me, right? And what I realized is that I lost some things, but I also gained some things. God restored the years that were eaten by the cankerworm, the palmer worm, and the locust. Those things that I missed, that I lacked, that I didn't realize was there. He's given me this amazing opportunity. That's why when you see me post a picture, we're having a little party or a luau luncheon or something, it's because I'm here. I better go all out while I have this time. I want to take advantage of this experience in this moment. Any other questions for Cairo, guys? Yes, Cairo. Chrissy, which lesson? Miss Tara said her son graduated from North Carolina A&T in graphic design and works for Apple. Oh, so Cairo has a connection. High five. Yeah. Anything else you want to share with the people about how you feel? Since COVID-19,
they want me, they think I'm gonna major in graphic design, which I don't want to do.
Well, anything else you want to share about what it feels like to work from home or to do school from home or not being able to go out with your friend to do things?
I don't really go out with my friends anyway, except we only talk at school because I don't understand. Their life is always doing something. Mm-hmm. So I text them anyway, and then and my friends are really dry texting. So it's the conversation will say hi. I'm just why is this group chat dead? And they're like, I don't know. Then we'll just stop talking.
Yeah, wow.
It's terrible.
Yeah. And so guys, look, you heard it from a 12-year-old, right? She's okay, but she's not okay. She misses her friends. She wants to go back to school. And how many of us ever thought we would hear our kids saying they want to go back to school? Look, won't he do it? That's right, Precious. He will do it. We got our kids ready to go back to school. If they put school back this summer, they are going. Miss Jessica just said hi, right? They going back to school, and guess what? They probably won't spend as much time on social media because they're going to be social media out. So we might begin to build more communication in person, right? I'm talking to you more. I'm coming to see you more because Facebook wiped us out, Zoom wiped us out, Twitter and Instagram wiped us out. We all snapped to pieces, right? And so during this time, while we're using social media for our advantage and we understand the perks of keeping us connected, we also understand that when things begin to shift, in a more positive way, that we'll be able to have conversations with each other. Anything else you want to share?
Is there anything to say?
No, I don't know. I don't know. Is there anything else that you want to say? I mean, I'm not sure. And so, guys, don't forget that Kyra and I and my sister Angela C. Gray will be hosting Inside and Out Emotional Intelligence for Moms and Kids. It's based on the film Inside Out, and we want you to participate in it. It's going to be fun and interactive. Once you send me an inbox, right, or If not an inbox, you can message the email address that's rolling across the screen right now and say, I'm interested. I'm going to send you a link to sign up, and then we're going to ship you a little activity kit for you and your child, and we'll be able to participate and have fun. You don't have to purchase the movie. It's coming with the package. You'll be able to watch it online if you want to, and then we'll come back together and do it and create our self-care plans, and we'll begin to look at our feelings and our emotions and what we're experiencing during this time in a different way. And so I'm excited. Would you help me thank Cairo for joining us today? Cairo, thank you for joining us today.
No
thank
problem.
you. Mr. Auntie said she loves you. She was like, Miss Tara said this will be a blessing in disguise, this COVID-19. That's right. You got it. It is restoration. That's right. So yeah, everybody's saying thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Yeah.
Bye humans.
She said, bye humans. So listen, guys, we're going to wrap up this session of Coffee and Community Conversation. Thank you guys for joining me. My other guests, Dr. Roundley, she got called into the ER today. She works in the the Greensboro Triangle area, and she was going to talk a little bit more about how she's, safeguarding her personal life, being a doctor during COVID-19, and she's a woman and a mom, and so that's why I was bringing her on. And Jessica said, what age group kids is this aimed at? So Jessica, before you jumped on, one of the things I was saying is that I create these lessons so that they are across the board. And so I have one that's just for kids, but this one can be for teenagers, preteens and teenagers. I think it's well-rounded enough where it talks about feelings in the language that's used. It's not limited. And so if we wanted to just do it for adults, there would be some things that have to change. But for an example, the slide decks, I think they'll work for all age groups, but it's the context of how you present it. If you're presenting it for high schoolers, then you would change some of the language that you use when you're presenting it. An example is it talks about anger, sadness, and it shows how two feelings combined create a new feeling, right? And so you begin to understand your emotions. And if you're talking to a high schooler, you can give some context on that example. But if you're talking to a kid, you're going to say, hey, I know that when you're angry and you're afraid, guys, this is what it creates. Now, how can we not, feel that way? And so it depends on how you want to present it. If you want to talk more offline about it, we can. And so I've sent that out to people. So that deck also comes with an ebook. It comes with the self-care plan that we did on Wellness Wednesdays. It comes with a little tasting that you would be able to experience with your kids, and it helps them understand their feelings, and some emoji art. And so it's similar to the watermelon art, but instead it's emoji art, so we can actually put our feelings on paper and color as a family. This is awesome. Taking grad pics with Jaden. Yeah, congratulations to Jaden. Cairo did good. Thank you guys so much for joining. And so today, let's just go back. Our community kickoff conversation was how you're navigating the new now. We talk about, in the middle of COVID and conflict, how do we care for ourselves? How do I say that I'm not okay? How can I get better for myself so that I can impact my community? And it starts with acknowledging what you're going through, what you're experiencing, and leaning on the people that are actually there for you. So I want to thank you guys for joining me for a coffee and community conversation with PKO. This is something that that God really put on my heart to do, to actually share these stories or just have conversation with you with coffee in my cup. Next week, I'll have some golden girls on. These are some friends, some women I know that are Black, white, Asian, and we're going to have a conversation on how, how we became friends, how we communicate, what it looks like, among all this racial conflict that we're experiencing in our country. Because listen, it's hard to have a conversation with people that don't look like you when people that don't look look like you, or at war with people that look like you, right? There's division among us. And so it kind of lends this awkward feelings, but there's a way to break through that barrier and to continue to build the bond that you have. So I hope that you join me next week and you maybe invite your Golden Girls. I love you too, Davina. And then the week after that, I'll have my sister on, who's a social worker in New York City. She holds a degree in juvenile justice and criminal deviancy, and she's going to be talking about how to navigate she's going to be talking about some of the experiences that she's experienced working with the youth and with the kids. And we want to begin to use this platform to celebrate people that are doing things that you may not ever hear about or know about. And so if you know somebody who's doing amazing things, or if you are doing something amazing and you want to share, you want to join this community conversation, all you have to do is email me or inbox, and I'm willing to bring you on. So thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget, if you're interested in emotional intelligence for you and your kids, based on the movie Inside Out, I want you to join me. Don't forget that that we'll be here next Saturday at 10 a.m., right? And that Brave Lessons is on Monday at 7 p.m. And last week we talked about full custody. This week, the topic is hearing aid. I hope that you guys join me. I want to thank you for taking time out. Send me an email or inbox if there's a topic that you like to hear. And if there's not anything else that you guys want to say, I just want to encourage you, to continue to have the conversation. Conversation challenges beliefs. And when you challenge beliefs, it opens up the door of opportunity to get to know somebody in a deeper, more powerful way. It can be over coffee. It can be over tea. But whatever it is, don't stay silent. Continue to have the conversation. It matters. There's power in your voice. There's change in your voice. But it has to be you that initiates it. Have an amazing day. And so today's community conversation was just not about how you transition, into phase 2 for COVID-19, but understanding that whether it's good or bad, whether you say yes or no, whether you go or you stay still, it causes a ripple effect in your life.